We always put the people first. Let's get it. Yeah. We're here with one of my favorite people in the world, Fahim. He's a business owner. He's actually the first business owner that I met when I came to New York. I moved from New York. I had to get a mailbox. And I looked up online Anytime Mailbox and showed up in person. And we've been stuck ever since, and that's been 3 years ago. But nah, you gotta see, this guy's a great leader in the community. He employs the youth. He's such a leader. He brings such positive energy. Anytime you're around, his energy is infectious. If you've ever been around him, you can't have a bad day around this guy, I promise you. He's one of the best people I know. He's helped me out tremendously. I don't know if you know that, but he's helped me. He's the first guy who actually let me come speak to his team one day, and that was crazy. That was my first time ever speaking really in public, but it's not gonna be the last time. So I credit this guy helping me. He gave me a lot of great books to read. Just infectious energy, strong business owner, great morals and principle, a family guy, takes care of his family, the community as well. So meet no other than Fahim, man. I'm glad to have him on the show.
I don't know who he's talking about. I really don't know. This is crazy. Wow, all of that. I don't know if I could meet up to that intro, Sidney. But it's truly an honor and a pleasure to be here and to be with you. And I wore the special socks because I'm known as the socks guy as well. Fun fact: my grandfather sold socks in India.
Okay.
And he sold that stand in Mumbai and took my grandmother on a honeymoon shortly before he passed away.
Okay.
So my last name means one who sells socks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Speaking on that, tell us about your childhood though, and what's some of your fondest memories growing up?
My childhood, so I was 3 when my mom brought me from India. My father was already here.
Okay.
My sister was about 10 months old.
Okay.
And my fondest memories were in preschool. When I was 5 years old, I was fluent in about 2.5 languages.
Wow.
So yeah, actually 3 languages.
Okay.
And I had a great childhood with amazing parents, very, very responsive, very motivational, and very supportive.
Okay.
Allowing me to make mistakes and get back up.
Wow.
And learn from them.
Okay.
And talk about it. So that's where I learned to speak.
Yeah.
And to encourage and not forget my time. And my father died at a very young age, relatively speaking. My father would have been 80 now, but he passed away 9 days shy of his 55th birthday.
Okay.
Died of esophageal cancer, and but taught me almost everything I know. And my mother has been my rock. My wife has been my rock, as you know, Seema. And I have 5 kids, and I try to impart all the lessons of my childhood on them.
That's awesome. They awesome to have you part of the family, man. You got a great family for sure. What are some interests and hobbies that you had early on that might have led you into your entrepreneurial journey? What's something?
I think just interacting with people and curiosity.
Okay.
Being there to learn from everybody. One of my mentors taught me early on to pick the roses and leave the thorns, and learn something from everybody. Even if you don't like them as a person, you and I would love to hang out together and we'll go to dinner together, but there's some people that I learn from.
Yeah.
I may not invite them to my dinner table.
That makes sense.
But they have something to offer.
Right.
And I think that is huge. That was a game changer. That's what I try to teach everybody that I meet, especially my kids.
Okay, no, that's good.
Yeah.
I like what you said about mentor. Can you explain what a mentor is and how that maybe have guided you on your journey through life, or how important is a mentor? Do you even need a mentor to be successful? What are your thoughts on mentorship?
I have yet to meet a successful person in all avenues of life that doesn't have a mentor.
Absolutely.
A mentor is a little bit is a life coach, is a teacher, is scholarly in the particular industry.
Yeah.
And all 3 combined, but it's also one who guides you. A mentor is a guide in trying to take you from mediocrity to excellence in every particular lifestyle or path that you're trying to follow. So if it's a particular service or avenue, you go and seek a mentor who's excellent in that avenue, in that service, in that business. And that's what I learned early on from a couple of mentors. And my father actually taught me the art of mentorship and the needing a mentor, because he had all these mentors in different things. It's sort of like when you go to someone and says, do you know a plumber? And you say, I know a guy. My father was that person. He knew a guy. He knew the best attorneys. He knew the best plumbers, the best electricians, the best people. And he knew people because he connected with them. And I learned that from my dad. Any industry I wanted to go into, find the best of that industry and go learn from them and be their student, regardless of how old you are, how educated you are. Mentorship, learning from a mentor, means you have to humble yourself and say, I don't know, so please teach me.
I love that. I love that.
And without that, I don't think it's possible.
For sure. How do you're very family owner? I keep hearing you say your mother, your father, your wife, your kids. So how do you balance the family? How was your upbringing with the family? And your father sounds like a great guy. He was just showing you the way. How did his lessons kind of bring you up and make you as dynamic as you are today and be able to incorporate your family into the business and just have that family atmosphere? Anybody who works for you, even me feeling your customer, is just a lovely atmosphere in here, and it's a great environment. So how did that dynamic upbringing, what was that like? Take us back to...
I learned a lot of grit from my father.
Okay.
So Angela Duckworth, one of my favorite authors, writes about the one quality that determines a successful person is not IQ. And that quality is grit. The ability to get back up when you've fallen in different parts of your life. My father failed at many different businesses, kept on getting back up, and he was tremendously successful before he passed away in terms of business, entrepreneurship, fatherhood, family, all of these things. And I learned that not from him telling me, but living it, seeing that, being exposed to that. And I was very scared because I had 17 months, I had 6 to 10 months before I would lose him because he had a botched surgery and the doctor said gave him 6 months to live. I got 17 months out of that. And in that 17 months, I was a sponge. I said, Dad, what do you want me to do? Give me 3 life lessons. You know? And he told me, he said, number 1, never, ever, ever forget the people who helped you get to the top. Never forget those people who made you successful. Number 2, always make time for your kids. And so that brings me back to the thing. And always make time for your community where you grow up. So the second part, the answer is sacrifice, Sidney. Right? S for Sidney, S for sacrifice. Parenting is a sacrifice. Work-life balance, I don't know if there is such a thing. In order to get where you need to be, in order to get to where you need to be from where you are, there's a certain level of sacrifice. I was not willing to sacrifice my kids and my family time to be where I am today, which is why it took much longer for me than for any other entrepreneur in my space.
No, that's awesome.
That's the answer. But I was okay with that. Now I'm looking at people who are looking at me and they're like, how did you do it? I said, you don't have the wherewithal to have that much patience. But that was because I wasn't willing to make that trade-off. I had to be at my older son's swim meet, and I had to be at his tennis practice, and I had to be at Yusuf's soccer practice or soccer game. I wasn't willing to make that trade-off.
I love that. I love that. The family, see, some things that money can't buy, it's not worth the dollars, so that's an important lesson. Family over money, I love that. That's a great point because so many people are willing to miss out on their kids' soccer games, and then when they grow up, they always remember their parent or somebody wasn't there. When that's all, you could give them some money, but they would have rather you been there when the baby steps. So, that's super important.
Ryan Serhant, you know Ryan Serhant? He's got one of the most successful real estate companies in the world right now. He has sold the most expensive residential real estate property in the country, if not the world. He posted from Greece 2 days ago on his Instagram page, and he said, I stopped everything that I was doing because I met a guy in first class talking before the plane was going to take off to his grandkids, and he was really excited. And I said to him, I said, sir, I'm really sorry to bother you, but I overheard you talking to your grandkids, and it seems like you have so much love for them. How many do you have? He said, I have 16. He said, tell me one piece of advice. He said, don't do what I did. I waited till grandchildren to spend time with the family. And I was doing everything I was working when my kids were growing up, and I don't ever want to regret that, so I make time for my grandkids, and whoever I interact with, I don't want them to regret that. So Ryan, when the plane landed, he got off, he called his company, he took a week off, and he posted with his daughter from Greece, and he said, I'm sorry, I'm off right now. And you don't have to be that wealthy to make time.
Right.
You have to make time to make time.
I like
Please
that.
understand that.
That's a bar. He's telling you what it is. I love this. So, you say your entrepreneurial journey wasn't like that. So what was it? Did you go to college? What was your education level? How did you do this? What was
I stopped short of my bachelor's in 1993. I guess people who are math oriented, like this young gentleman over here, they're gonna figure out my age. But you know what? 50 is the new 30, brother. August is my birthday month, and we're authentic as it gets.
That's right.
So I skipped 7 years. I had a 7-year gap. My father passed away. I had 3 semesters to go. And one of my dear mentors after my father passed away taught me that a noble human being never, ever, ever leaves a task incomplete.
Okay.
And so I used that as my stepping stone, and I went back to school having 3 kids at the time, a widowed mother to take care of, and all these other things on my journey. And I said, you know what, I gotta complete this. So I went back and got, to my alma mater, Stony Brook University, and I graduated with honors and a 3.7 GPA and Phi Beta Kappa, and I wanted to really, really finish with a master's. I couldn't, but I did a bachelor's in economics, and I did management and information systems and a minor in business, and I wanted to really, really make an impact with that. And that's how I started my journey, because I knew I wanted to do something in business.
Okay. So what was your first job? Did you jump straight to entrepreneur, or did you have a few jobs to learn from?
I had started a catalog company.
Okay.
Selling leather gifts from my basement, and I started it the month that my father passed away in 1998.
Okay.
And it was called Creative Leather Concepts Inc.
Okay.
And it is the parent company to this day of Island Ship Center.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's the parent company.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to give up that tax ID because it reminds me of my father. So my FedEx authorization for Island Ship Center is connected to that company.
That's amazing.
Creative Leather Concepts Inc.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Been on the journey ever since.
Yeah, I've been on a journey ever since. And I learned so many lessons, so many pitfalls. We were doing Amazon FBA before anyone knew what it was. 2008. And drop shipping in 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, when no one knew what it was. And that was through leather gifts and personalization. But service. The one thing that I cannot stress is service. It's just excellence in service.
100%.
Excellence in service.
That's awesome. So with your entrepreneur journeyship, with the leather services and then the ship center, how did you identify a market need to know, hey, I need to get in this market and this is what's gonna be my vehicle to set me free?
Yeah, I moved to Buffalo, Grand Island, Niagara Falls area in 2005, and I was still selling online and leather gifts, and I loved package shipping. I was always a mail person. Like, I loved to get mail and packages. I was ordering over the phone and the LL Bean catalog and different catalogs before the internet.
I remember my grandma used to be on QVC, all those. I remember those days.
When it was okay to give your credit card number to people over the phone.
Strangers. That's crazy.
And I remember that. And there was a charm at the time for me to get packages and have them shipped from point A to point B.
Okay.
I came here, I landed, I had a FedEx account, and I traveled to find the nearest FedEx place, and it was 15 miles away.
Right.
I contacted FedEx, and they said, well, there's a program, you can apply and become a FedEx authorized ship center. I said, please apply, and I got accepted in 2 days.
Yeah.
You can't get accepted in 2 months now.
Right.
But I got accepted, and I started in 2006 and haven't looked back since. And my better half, my wife, joined in 2014 and has really raised the bar, and of course making it to what it is today.
That's awesome. So on that early journey, what were some of the challenges and the I want to quit moments early on that just were like, I don't know if a business is for me? Take us back and picture like
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years, not recognizing that it takes 7 to 10 years to build a brand aware business, to build a community staple, to build something worth talking about, to build something worth leaving to your kids. Yeah. It takes, don't let anybody tell you 36 months, because it's not 3 years, brother. Right. I don't care what anyone says. Right. It ain't no 3 years.
It's always longer.
It's longer.
And more expensive.
7 to 10 days, and 36 months is you bleeding money and not making any.
Yeah.
How are you going to support yourself? That's the second reality. And number 3, for me, if Seema were here and if she were to tell you the biggest mistake that I make that I don't want anybody else to make, find a mentor early and often.
Okay.
Find a mentor early and often.
I like that. I like that.
Find the best person in your industry. Okay, if you are selling any widget, the best widget seller, Sidney, if you have to travel cross country, and you know how much you and I love to travel, if you have to travel cross country to find the best widget seller in California, it's going to save you time and money in the long run.
Absolutely.
Because learn from him or her and then apply it in your fledgling business.
Absolutely. I'm actually want to tell you, you inspired me when you always was telling me on the conferences. So this year I've been going to so many conferences, meeting people, even if it's a artificial intelligence kind. I don't have nothing to do with my business, but I could learn something and always meet somebody interesting. So I'm grateful for that. You definitely are always out on the road, learning something new, bringing it back to the ship center, telling me, so putting the bug in my ear to just keep thinking. So I appreciate you for that.
Of course.
Tell us about you said you started in 2005?
2006, April.
Okay.
Yeah, so 17 and a half years ago.
How have you navigated the industry? I remember I was probably in college when the first recession, 2008, and then COVID. So how do you navigate when it seems like the world comes to a stop and just we have life-changing events that nothing will ever be the same after? How have you managed 2 of those? I've managed 1 of those with COVID, but I was in college. I wasn't even paying attention back in 2000. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
But how have you managed 2 world crisis pretty much?
Just hang on and resilience, resolve, and the right people.
Yeah.
Be around the right people, and then take advice and apply it, and do not be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Do not be afraid to be realistic.
Yeah.
And also, do not be afraid to pivot, and pivot early and often. So pivoting, diversification, and the right people.
I love that.
Yeah, let's take it back from COVID. So COVID, we had to pivot and diversify and go into different things. We actually landed into fulfillment and doing so many fulfillment jobs in COVID and growing because shipping was a necessary business.
Right.
So we had to put printing on the back burner and started shipping and fulfillment. Yeah. And we landed into e-commerce fulfillment through that, and we're doing that now. Wow. So, and then printing's back up. Yeah. In the recession, there wasn't a lot of shipping going on because nobody knew about Island Ship Center on the island or anywhere. Yeah. So I was going all into moving from physical inventory to drop shipping, and that's how I got into FBA, and all of that was the result of the pain of patience and pivoting.
I love that. See, everything's not gonna go your way in entrepreneurship, as you know. Leading into that, so how do you deal with failure or setbacks, or when you make this grand plan and then you know how we plan it and then we get to the game and it goes nothing like what we did on paper, and the answer is not in any of the things we did in the past, and you just gotta navigate through the new whatever the landscape of the lay of the land is and make something happen. So
if we just look at the word fail, F-A-I-L, one of the former prime ministers of India, where I'm from, he mentioned it so well. He said, fail, just look at the word. It says first attempt in learning.
I like that.
If it didn't work, you go back.
Right.
That's what fail is.
Right.
It's a first attempt in learning.
Right.
And I've had many of those. Yeah. I've had countless. Yeah. And the other quote that I like is that I failed my way to success. Yeah. Show me, and the third one, my challenge, show me someone who hasn't failed and has become successful. I don't think that it's possible. Right. So the failure is actually a stepping stone for you to reach the pinnacle. Yeah. Each brick of failure, if you will, is a step that you can either climb or fall on.
That's right.
I choose to climb.
I love it. I love it. You hear that, young people? When you meet your first hardship, it's gonna come. It's not the end of the world. Life goes on. It takes time, and just keep learning, keeping a positive attitude. So, like you said, when you fail, you don't really fail. You just learning a better lesson and a better way to do things. So
yeah, I mean, losing, but also one of my favorite movie quotes, I don't know, and I'm gonna paraphrase, but I don't know which movie it's from, so if your viewers are watching this and they know, please let me know. But I send it to my kids often because it really hits me to the core. If you have lost all of your money, you haven't lost anything.
Oh.
If you have lost your health, you have lost something. But if you have lost your character, you have lost everything.
Right, 100%.
You've lost everything.
100%.
So don't let your failures of physical things and situations change who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Don't let it shift your core.
Right.
Don't let it change your being. Don't stop being grateful. Don't stop being the authentic you who you are.
That's right.
Don't stop being Sidney. I shouldn't stop being Fahim. And that's sometimes a hard lesson.
Yeah.
But yeah, exude excellence in everything you do, brother.
I love that. I love that. So how do you innovate? I know as business owners we can sometimes kind of get we always going and fall back on the things we used to for a problem, but sometimes going back doesn't work anymore with the new problems and the ever-changing landscape. When the world is changing so fast, every 2 to 3 months is a new way to do this, new way to do that. So how do you keep it fresh? How do you innovate? How do you stay at the top of your industry? How do you keep continuously learning, continuously improving things?
I constantly ask the best of the best in their industry.
Okay.
I'm thankful and honored now that we have so many guests that come into our store every day who are CEOs and executives and doing really well. So my son and I, we take turns in either asking them, making time for them, and asking them exactly what can we add in our services to make it better, or weekly or bi-weekly, I take those people out to lunch.
That's awesome.
And I make time for them. And I spend money and time and energy, and then I say, what can we do to make this better? And that's really the secret. That's the secret. I ask the innovators, the ones who are doing it correctly, the ones that, and I still owe you that lunch, but I'll take it. The dinner that I owe you that we had to.
We'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
That's
But
easy.
that's what it is. It's
For
just
sure.
that thirst for knowledge, like, what can I do to make this better than it was before? Because we can always, there's no such thing as perfection.
Nope.
But without striving for perfection, there's no excellence.
I love that.
The other thing that I wanted to mention on this side note is people who are small-minded get affected negatively by others' success.
Ooh.
I want to talk about that, Sidney.
Let's talk about it.
Being happy for other successful people and their successes is one of the reasons for me to be who I am.
Right.
Anybody who has been in my company or who I have learned from or who I have taught, seeing that person successful now, whether it's a result of being here or not, to me, that is a great, I can't be happier than I am. It's just a joy for me to be in the presence of that person who is becoming even more successful than they were when I was with them. People don't like to see other people succeed a lot of the times. What do you think about that?
No, that's true. I don't know, I feel like a competition, it's secret competition, but I'm from the school of collaboration over competition, so I mean.
Love that.
2 heads always better than one. I can always learn from anybody. What do they say? You treat the CEO with the same respect as the janitor. That's how I was raised. I love my parents. They instilled that in me earlier. Learn from everybody, never better than anybody, and just be a good, genuine person. That's what it's all about, though. I mean, yeah, collaboration over competition is what I strive for.
I love it.
The world likes to say we're all in competition or there, but just focus on your own race, run your own race, and you'll be better off. That's all I
For sure.
The advice. But speaking of that, your culture, how did you build your work culture here? Because you walk in, you're greeted nice. Hey, how you doing? That's different. You go in some places and they just, what the hell are you here for? But you come in here, the energy's good, the atmosphere is good, people are helpful, everybody's smiling, everybody's eager to do their job, nobody you could tell if a bad apple was here, but I've never had a bad experience, no day walking through this door ever. So how did you build that?
So I learned, my start was in 2016 when I listened to Start With Why by Simon Sinek and his TED Talk, and then trying to apply those lessons, and then applying the lessons of Disney by calling every customer a guest.
Okay.
We only call them guests. And Chick-fil-A, where we only say my pleasure. There's certain staple things that is part of Island Ship Center, is part of the Spa of Shipping, that is part of our culture.
Yeah.
And they are non-negotiable.
Yeah.
The way we speak, the way we smile, the way we interact, the way we create relationships, the way we are curious about others for the sake of being curious and spending time on them for the sake of spending time. No other reason. That's our generosity with our time without expectation. That is non-negotiable.
I love that. Can you elaborate on the Spa of Shipping? I've never heard that. That's the first time I heard that.
So hashtag Spa of Shipping, that came about, a couple of our guests actually, 2014, 15, they used to come in a lot, and they said, whenever we come in, we have this experience where you leave and you say, I've taken it. Shipping is a very mundane industry. We try to make it extraordinary. And that's only through our experience.
Yeah.
And they recognize that and say, this should be like the Spa of Shipping. Like, you guys are the Disney of shipping, the Ritz-Carlton of shipping. One of my dear friends, shout out to Cherish.
Hey.
I'm going to send her a link for this podcast. Yeah. She used to work for Ritz-Carlton, and she said, you are the Ritz-Carlton of shipping.
Wow.
And one of our other clients, they worked for Disney, and they said, you're the Disney of shipping. Well, those are copyrighted terms, so we came up with the Spa of Shipping. The treatment that people receive, they need to feel better exiting than when they enter.
Yeah, I love that. And I worked in plenty of warehouses in my life, and even going to the post office, though, it's a different experience. Like, I just feel like I'm a number in line, waiting to get my package, or they gonna tell me I'm missing something, I gotta assign, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, definitely a VIP experience. If you're in the area, please come to the Spa Shipping Island Ship Center in Grand Island. Some of the best in the industry, I promise you. But what advice do you have for, somebody out there, no matter the age, it's never too late, they ready to take that jump into the entrepreneurship world? What advice do you have for them to take that leap? Like, no time's coming back, nothing moving forward. What advice do you have somebody who's teeter-tottering on the fence?
There's no time like the present. And also, don't ever think that you have to take a leap of faith and be uncertain about things. There's no reason, especially now with all the tools and technology that we have, that you can't have a proper day job and consistent income while you're pursuing a side hustle, an entrepreneurship hustle, and then once that grows, then to leave that. I think they're not mutually exclusive. They're together, they're complementary, right? Use your day job, the security and the sanity that is provided by your consistent income, to then use the income, live frugally. That's the second thing.
For sure.
Learn from my mistakes and other people in similar situations. Live frugally, and then use the extra income to propel your side hustle, to get the added things, and then grow that. But I firmly believe that if we don't make time to wean ourselves off of social media and devices and things like that, people complain that they don't have time. Well, if you look at the amount of time that we're spending on our devices, instead of reading a book or watching a learning video, a tutorial about how to do things, we'd have a lot of time. Right. Or hanging out in networking groups and asking people questions. One of my favorite things is I always gauge a room. If I'm in a room for a long time and I'm the smartest person in the room, I need to change rooms. That's absolutely. Some people get off on being the smartest person in the room, that's not really a good thing to be, like he said. Like, if you always got the answers and everybody got to come to you and get your approval, that's stroking your own ego. Go get humbled. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to ask questions. We got to get back to asking questions when we don't know, instead of trying to act like we know everything or act like we're the smartest. People can tell when you're being a phony. It's pretty easy to tell when you're being ingenuine and you don't really know your stuff. So
There's nothing wrong with asking a question, kids out there. Don't feel embarrassed. Literally, the answer is cliche, but no answer is stupid. The stupid person is the person who doesn't ask the question. So, yeah, that was a great answer, though. I love that.
A wise person taught me that half of knowledge starts with recognizing that you don't know.
Yeah, that's truly.
That's half of knowledge.
That's true. And like he said, it's nothing wrong. I had a 9 to 5. I worked probably 10 years in corporate America, just saving my money. But when you're on your job, make sure you're learning the business of your job. You need to learn what a P&L is, or learn the systems that they're using. If you're in the accounting part, learn what they're doing the business-wise, then come apply that to your own operation. Speaking of numbers and stuff like that, how important is financial literacy and knowing your budget and P&Ls and knowing these type of things while running a business so you don't exhaust your funds or allocate the funds to the right place? How important is that financial? We all want to get in hustle and grind, but how important is knowing the numbers of your business?
Essential.
Yeah.
It is the backbone, Sidney. It is the backbone.
Yeah.
And there are people like me who are verbal, okay, and not math.
Right.
And if that is the case, recognize it, and as soon as you can, have people on your team or hire someone or outsource the books and make sure that they're trusted and get that under control. Because if you don't have proper information of your numbers, you could be doing a lot of sales and a lot of money coming in.
Yeah.
But if your expenses exceed that, it doesn't matter how much that first amount is.
Right.
That is just basic and
Right.
very essential. It's the backbone.
Right. And I love that. You noticed he said earlier, like I've had 3 months of no profit, 6 months of not making profit. So you have to really know your numbers. If you're not making profit, breaking even, or going in the negative, like you have to know how to weather the storm. It just remains out. Like I talk about tough times when you working hard, you doing everything you can, and no money. You might not get paid. You got to pay your whole staff, and then you look at your time to pay yourself out, and it's we drinking water and eating beans and rice for the rest of it. You know what I mean? Talk about those times we've had. Like,
been there, done that,
Yeah.
and consistently doing that on a regular basis. Even most recently, where you and I talked, even during COVID, post COVID, there's times where when you have to navigate the storms, you have to be ready for no money coming in, no cash flow. What are you going to do? Have a plan B.
Yeah.
Learn to save.
Yeah.
Learn to save.
Yeah.
It's so important, you know, and those people who are in your space or in your industry who are willing to collaborate with you, learn from them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm having a problem being frugal. I'm having a problem. What should I do?
Yeah.
You have to be vulnerable to certain people and trust them to take care of sharing your financial information with them so that they can teach you and navigate. And it's okay if you are falling behind. It's not okay to stay that way though.
Right. No, that's awesome. I like when you spoke on pivots, because you went from the leather, you said early Amazon FBA to drop shit. Like, people don't realize like the talent it takes to pivot, or notice that you even have to pivot, because I'm sure people that you started with, how many entrepreneurs did you start and they just stayed on that straight path, and how did it end up for them if they didn't pivot? Like, speak about the importance of just pivoting, being open to change, being mindful of the industry, how the world's going. So I like that topic. Could you elaborate on that some more for us?
I like to compare it to surfing. I've never surfed before, so please, with all due respect to those who are surfers, but what I see of surfing, those who are expert surfers, they look at each wave as an opportunity to rise above and higher. Those who get caught in the middle, they get washed away.
Okay.
And that is the world of business.
Yeah.
So people in our industry, when shipping comes along and Amazon has their own trucks, you know, ironically that you and I are sitting here, but you seem to have a competitive business, yet we are collaborating, and I look at it as complementary because we learned to work it out.
Yeah.
Well, we could have taken that as a threat, and a lot of people in our industry took it as a threat, like what's going to happen? Amazon has launched all these trucks. What's going to happen to shipping and FedEx and UPS? Well, FedEx and UPS and a lot of the stores in our industry took it as an opportunity to surf and rise higher and raise the bar from mediocrity to excellence in their services, in their offerings, and add more things like printing, like mailboxes, like notary, like storage, and rose above and were able to capture that wave of opportunity. And even then, some of the clients from Amazon become their mailbox customers.
For sure.
And that's what that is. So it's either a threat where you get washed away, or it's a surfing opportunity. And I look at the latter.
I love that. This guy's never treated me like we was in competition. I've never felt that. I mean, I even send my drivers, used to send my drivers whenever he needed me to come clean up. So now it's always been a great relationship between us and great collaboration. Like you say, collaboration over competition, 100%.
I love that.
I love this dude, man. He takes care. So customer is the most important person to the business here. Not the most important, but we put customers on a high pedestal.
On a high pedestal, yes. And our team is the most important.
That's right.
The team, the people on the bus.
Right.
The people on the bus are the most important.
Yeah.
And sometimes the people on the bus are on the wrong seats on the bus.
Yeah.
So they have to be switched around in their responsibilities and roles to get on the right seat.
Yeah.
But the client, the customer, the guest, the person coming into your place of business or interacting with you is definitely right up there.
How do you gauge customer satisfaction, and how do you get feedback from the customer to know what to do or how to navigate, or do you even take, because like what's your opinion or thoughts on, because you hear people, the customer's always right. Sometimes they not, you know what I mean? We've had those experiences.
Absolutely,
so
we have.
How do you use that to kind of gauge where you need to take the business, or we need to change this or that, depending on the customer feedback?
Online reviews.
Okay.
Emails, texts, and physical interactions.
Yeah.
We will constantly have people coming into our store talking, hopefully raving about our service and our team members. And as a result, we reward our team members accordingly.
Okay.
Financially, and with time, with more vacation, with extra benefits, with perks. We definitely reward our team members for being mentioned by name in a review or in a compliment from a client.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
So
treating that internal team member as part of a team and not an outsider, it has really changed the game for us, because if you take care of your people will take care of your business.
100%.
Yeah. Assuming that you have the right people on the team. And that's a process.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a process.
Team building
is a whole process.
Sure.
It's an industry, brother.
For sure. It's never changed. It's always constantly evolving in different factors, for sure. How do you manage uncertainty and risk? Like when it's no clear-cut answer, just we'll see what happens if I try this. I could fail, but I could. It doesn't matter. How do you manage the risk, or not be too risky, but not be too timid and reluctant on things? So how do you manage risk and uncertainty?
So uncertainty and risk, I think, are two different things. The change is the only constant. As an entrepreneur, it's the only certainty that there's going to be change. If you're not okay with that, then you can't be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Risk, I am sometimes too risky. So I'm very thankful to my wife and my son, Yusuf, the younger one, who is with us in the business now, who really, they take a hold of my reins, if you will. If there are two reins to the horse, they are, holding them, and they're like, hold on, wait. So we actually have an internal audit chat where they make sure that every piece of money that is spent for the business is for growth and is worthwhile, and the risks are not too greater than the rewards.
I love that.
So you have to have the right people on your team.
I love that. Shout out Seema and shout out Yusuf. Great people if you never met them. What strategy do you use for marketing and brand building? You said it takes 17 years to build a brand, and you can lose that reputation in one day. So what advice do you got to people who want to get themselves out there, market and build their brand? What's some tips that can help the people?
Be authentic on screen as you are off. Be that real person. Consistent posting, and make sure that your posts whether it's reels, videos, contents, pictures, blogs, they're consistent with your personality.
Yeah.
So a dear friend of mine, Norman in Fort Lauderdale, he runs a brand called Grumpy Man Coffee, which is the best coffee that I feel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grumpy Man.
Sure.
He also has a shipping store in West Palm Beach. Well, Norman is truly a grumpy man. He looks right, he's the most amazing person,
Awesome.
but he's grumpy. He doesn't smile at all. And that's his personality.
Yeah.
So I cannot exude that with my brand, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So the personality has to come through on the screen. This talk that you and I are doing, okay, it's in the form of a podcast, but I'm not nervous or sweating or anything. You and I are having an amazing conversation, heart to heart.
For sure.
And that's why it's so authentic, and that's why I hope it touches lives and people are taking it not just, oh, that was a great talk. Whatever we're talking about, if you feel value, apply it, share it with others, wash, rinse, and repeat. I think givers gain, and takers lose.
They definitely do. Definitely.
In the long term,
sure.
It's yeah.
Yeah, takers. I mean, people know, and if you come around always taking, people recognize that if you're not adding value, always try to add value anywhere you go. Even if nobody adds value, just add value. You're gonna get in the right room, and one day, and it's just the magic gonna take off. You never know where to have you at. Lead with your best foot forward. Be around great people. Try to be around great people always. Another question. Let's see. How do you prioritize and delegate? Know when to delegate. How do you prioritize what's important in the business, and how do you know who to delegate what to on your team? How do you know, hey, this is his strong suit, I need you over here? How do you recognize those and put people in the right place?
That was a process. That took some time. And that's important, especially for a lot of people who are entrepreneurs and are working single-handedly, or they're just one man, one woman shows, and they're type A, and they want to do everything themselves.
Yeah.
Understand that the time is more valuable than money. Recognizing that my time is more valuable than my money, and if there's a task that I can outsource that is going to be done about 80 to 85% just as well as I would do it, and my team member can do it, I can do something more that'll make more money for the business, and therefore keep everybody happy, including the payroll.
I love
and
that.
the paychecks for our team members.
Yeah.
That was really the game changer, and I learned that from dear friends and industry leaders, and reading different books, and even some of our guests who are leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Doing everything. I know it seems good in the beginning. Yeah, you may have to, but eventually it hurts you more than it helps you by trying to be everywhere in one place when you get into your entrepreneurship journey. And then it can just burn you out. You can burn out and resent your business if you all over the place all the time. So just be mindful of that type of thing. How do you deal with burnout? Have you ever been burnt out? Tell us about it.
All the time. All the time. I just came back from vacation, which is why I'm so fresh.
Yeah.
And it's great. And just leaving everything and understanding that, any type of fear that you have of destruction of your business is nothing compared to the destruction of your own self.
Yeah, that's a bar.
That's it.
Yeah.
That recognition right there was why I had to stop everything and go, and we came back rejuvenated and ready to work.
Yeah.
Burnout is a real thing.
For sure.
Learn to balance your time and learn to have the right people so you can delegate it. So, if you don't delegate, you will become eliminated.
Okay. You hear it from the mouth of one of the best I ever seen do it. So there we go. Let's see. What makes Island Ship Center unique from anybody else in the industry? What sets you apart? Not in competition, but you see it and this is only Fahim. This is only Fahim and Seema work right here. What's unique about it?
So I live to inspire, motivate, uplift, and rejuvenate. People actually come in here not just for shipping, printing, mailboxes, or storage. They come for a weekly quote. They come here to be inspired. They come here for me pushing positivity. Seema lives to do the same thing in her way, exuding excellence through the boutique, through her offerings, through her naturals products, through her cream, the stuff that she makes, and makes people happy, makes people healthy. That's who Seema is. And that's, I think, unique in terms of our offerings, because it's completely antithetical to a shipping store, and yet it's our brand.
For sure.
It's our brand. It's what people. It's what we are known for on the island in our community. And now, thankfully, through social media and through different avenues of PR, we are getting known in the Western New York community for that.
Hey, that's what it's all about. And this is where I get my hand cream, where I rub people who always steal my supplies. Island Ship Center. Where can they go online to get?
So they can go on seamasnaturals.com, and we are bringing the Shopify site back online. We had it on the back burner, so it's coming back up, and they can go online to seamasnaturals.com and get it there.
You hear that, Mom? We're gonna get you. I'm gonna send you some still, but y'all can go online and get it from them for sure. They always steal my stuff.
I know. At the time of this recording, that cream is completely sold out. So we got more shower steamers and cream and lotions and soaps coming through. But yeah, for sure. And that's really not. That's just to let you know, like, by the way, we wanted to put it on the back burner. We wanted to stop it, but the demand was greater than our halt.
That's great products, for sure. If you haven't been here, you got to come. It's more than they got a store in the front. They got a business center here. We shooting podcasts. Got warehousing going on. It's just a great place, great environment, great team.
We got a new print room built last year.
Can we go on a tour after this?
Yes, we can. Absolutely.
Let's do the tour. We're going to show y'all Western New York, what you missing. Have you encountered any ethical dilemmas in your business? And how did you handle it? Something that just didn't sit right, like no matter what, it just,
It happens all the time in our industry, whether someone is trying to ship contraband and lie about it, whether we are going to refund a client who has overpaid and we were able to pack their package and we are able to save them on dimensions and weight, or if SEMA is printing something and we come out 300 cards and they're just not right, and we have to redo the printing, versus, oh, it would be okay, no one will notice. There's always those fine lines. And having a strong moral compass is the answer, not just to a business, but to life. Because how you deal with one thing is how you deal with everything.
Right.
So if it's a small thing and you are not particular about cleanliness on a small thing, you will not be particular on cleanliness on a large thing. And to extrapolate that, I think Tony Robbins was the one who said that if you can't be generous with $10, you won't be generous with $10 million. So how you are as a person, it defines you how you will be after some success comes.
That's right. Oh, that's a great answer. Man, you killing it. This dude awesome, man. With the world changing rapidly, AI, technology, all this automation, how do you incorporate that to keep up with the industry standards? Because some, like me, working with Amazon, I worked for Amazon for 5 years. I worked in the old school logistics, and Amazon was the first company where I saw, like, okay, we doing computers and we unloading packaging, we using it, we kind of blending the tech with the logistics. How do you stay with the technology and use it to make your life easier? Or do you accept technology? Because you go some places and they like, computer, we not doing, you know what I mean? Do you accept technology?
We embrace it. We embrace it with our own flair. So we are able to combine everything into one cloud through the Apple ecosystem, and connect our devices at work and at home, so we are able to have all content and social media on 4 different devices, all connected. All of our daily sales are connected on one device, and people can call, email, text, or airdrop their photos and their print jobs to us. And so we've definitely embraced technology and increased efficiency that way over the years. As far as AI is concerned, and if that's a threat or an opportunity, I firmly believe going head on in with being the best human being that you can. So AI has everything, but it doesn't have a soul. And so if human beings are soulless, they will be captured and they will be completely destroyed by AI. But if you and I have a soul and we care and we are generous without expectation, AI can't understand that. The algorithm can't understand why someone would do something good for the sake of good.
Right.
And Lisa Nichols says that it's very important for good people to do well, because when good people do well, they do more good. And we need more good in the world. So be the best version of a human being that you can. That's the best complementary strategy to defeating or being in the world of AI and being there for a long time as a human being. Because I think that's the really crux of it, right? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Will we be taken over by AI if you as a human being are not raising the bar in generosity, gratitude, collaboration, empathy, excellence? Then you will be swallowed by AI.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you are raising that bar, then you will be a great threat to AI, and you will definitely be living a long time in the world of AI.
For sure. No, absolutely. You can either learn to make it work for your business, or you can let it, like you say, take you out. So yeah, that's awesome. We're working in the ship center. What are your thoughts on environmental? I know you got a lot of plastic, cardboard. How do you make sure you dispose of it and take care of the things? Like I know with Amazon, we're about to switch to like electric vehicles. We do a lot of recycling and baling. So how do you stay environmental friendly with your business? Because there's a lot of pallets, it's all kind of cardboard. We got all kind of materials, hazardous materials, whatever you ship.
We of course, so we don't ship any hazardous materials because we're not certified.
Okay.
And also we are big into recycling, into sustainability, and we are currently finding creative ways to reuse and recycle, especially from the community, people bringing us stuff. As a business in New York State, we can't use the styrofoam or the styrofoam products anymore. So those peanuts are gone. These are all recycled the peanuts that we use. Cardboard, we're finding ways and machineries to recycle any of the cardboard chips and planks that we have to make them into filler material. And we just hired an assistant manager who is certified and has a degree in sustainability and supply chain. So she's helping us raise that bar as well.
Hey, shout out to that, man. Speaking of supply chain logistics, we both in the same industry, just a different umbrella. Tell the youth or anybody who doesn't know the importance of shipping, trucking, warehousing. Like, if stuff stopped moving, how literally fast would the world come to a screech? If we saw in the pandemic, the toilet paper basic essentials was out. How fast, if our industry was halted, shipped, or on strike or whatever, fast would the world realize, like, it's not we don't have the prettiest jobs, but how important is this to the infrastructure of America?
It's absolutely essential. Yeah. It's absolutely essential. We just barely avoided a UPS strike.
Yeah.
And if that strike went on for 7 to 10 days, it would have been a loss of over $500 billion.
Yeah.
Like, it's just insane.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we can't even fathom that. We can't even fathom that.
Right.
And that's big numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine, all these things, packages at your door. It's just become a monster in itself.
Yeah.
But it's the reality.
Yeah.
And these packages and this movement and this logistics from point A to point B is not going anywhere because the supplies in the retail stores have been decimated.
Right.
Decreased to the point of being decimated.
Yeah.
And as a result, we have to rely on things that we didn't rely on before to go online and get 7 different types of shoes, different sizes,
right,
and then return 6 of them to see which one fits.
Right.
I know people are doing that.
Right.
And because you can't find it in the stores.
Yeah.
So it's become an essential thing. We are the new malls.
Yeah.
Right, we are in the new shopping places.
Yeah.
We are the new hangouts.
Yeah.
All these places. So the shipping is an essential industry, just like healthcare. I would put it right up there with healthcare,
100%.
Travel, education.
Yeah.
Right. I would put it right up there.
Nah, I love that. See, supply chain, that's a good field. It's never going anywhere. It's just gonna keep innovating. I think people have become spoiled too because we can get our we can order online and get our package in 2-3 days, sometimes 12 hours, just depending on the speed.
Yeah, in some markets it's same day with the drones.
So some people who got spoiled, but I remember our people 50 years ago, 100 years ago is horse and carriage to the next village to Niagara Falls or Buffalo. So just be mindful of people in the industry, man. It's a great industry to be in.
And also, I think respectful of the people that are bringing your package. They're also human beings. They have lives just like you.
Yeah.
And they are doing a job that's essential. So please treat them like human beings with respect and courtesy.
I love that.
As you would like to be treated.
That's right. The golden rule. The golden rule. How do you get the best out of your employees and make sure you empower them to be the best that they can be? It's just in life in general, because they're a job, but outside of life, you want to see, I know you want to see everybody successful. You can't wait to brag on, everybody that worked for you or worked for you is doing. Like, you already know, they going to this college, they about to study this. I remember, your people like the back of your hand. So how important is that to you?
I think to incentivize for each team member according to his or her needs and wants, and according to his or her best wishes. That, I think, is the best. Every single team member has a different level of wishes.
Yeah.
So to make sure that we are contributing to his or her wish list in the best possible way. For some it's childcare. For some it's money.
Yeah.
For some it's time off.
Yeah.
For some it's wellness. And every team member is different. So individually, working with every team member and working with their schedule and working with their wish list has really helped us raise the bar in not just finding great help or team, but keeping them.
I love that. I love that. Well, we about to wrap it. We got one last question. Let's just say, let's go long term. We're going to go long term. But I want to say in 5 years when we watch this, what's one thing that you think that you would have accomplished or you will accomplish or you're going to accomplish 5 years when we look back at this and timestamp it? What's something that Fahim's going to accomplish, SEMA, the family, the Island Ship Center? What's going to look like? Not business or personal. It can be either or.
Grow into consulting, starting with the industry,
Okay.
and then small businesses at large.
Yeah.
Where my son and I are focusing right now on working on a business plan to add a consulting business.
Okay.
So that we can help others and empower them to achieve even more success than us, in their markets.
Yeah.
How we can take the knowledge that we've had in our industry and then apply it to grow and then build a business that is worth leaving as a legacy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's what I would like.
I love that, man. I appreciate your time today.
I appreciate you.
Took time out the business. We about to go on a tour. He about to show us this great center he has. All the plaques on the wall, his great book collection. So stay tuned. We about to do a tour. We're wrapping it up. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Man.
Are you kidding? Thank you for your time. I'm honored. I'm grateful. And I hope that your listeners and your viewers are able to take this and apply it. Because really, what separates the successful from the unsuccessful is execution.
That's it.
1 to 3% execute on the knowledge and 97% don't. So please be from the 1 to 3%.
Oh, for sure. And if you're ever in Western New York, look up Island Ship Center, the Spa Shipping, Grand Island, New York. Come through, support, ship a package, bring your, come to the store in the front, get you some essential candles, oil, soap, whatever you need, products. Come with Fahim and SEMA and the team. They'll take great care of you. You'll always remember it. So thank you.
Thank you.
I love
it.
For sure.